Kings and Leaders and Polygamy. Hi, my name is Debbie. I bring this presentation to you in the name of Yahuwah and Yahushua. I believe that there is proof in the scriptures that the black and brown people who had a yoke put on their neck and were transported as slaves to Brazil and America are a part of the chosen people named Yasharal. The first marriage established by Yahuwah. Genesis 2:21 through 25. And Yahuwah Elohim caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs, and closed up the flesh instead thereof. And the rib which Yahuwah Elohim had taken from man made he a woman, and brought her unto the man. And Adam said, This is now bone of my bones, and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. And they were both naked, the man and his wife, and were not ashamed. One husband, one wife. The first marriage cleaved together by Yahuwah consisted of one husband and one wife. It is my belief that this pattern of one husband and one wife is taught in the scriptures as being the more manageable pattern written in the law by Yahuwah for the kings and leaders of the chosen people named Yasharal, rather than a marriage based on polygamy. The king shall not multiply wives to himself. Deuteronomy 17:14 through 17. When thou art come unto the land which Yahuwah thy Elohim giveth thee, and shalt possess it, and shalt dwell therein, and shalt say, I will set a king over me, like as all the nations that are about me. Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom Yahuwah thy Elohim shall choose. One from among thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee. Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother, but he shall not multiply horses to himself, nor cause the people to return to Matsari, which is Egypt, to the end that he should multiply horses. For as much as Yahuwah hath said unto you, ye shall henceforth return no more that way. Neither shall he multiply wives to himself, that his heart turn not away. Neither shall he greatly multiply to himself silver and gold. King Duad laid with another man's wife and got her pregnant. 2 Shemuel 11:2 through 5. And it came to pass in an evening tide that Duad arose from off his bed, and walked upon the roof of the king's house. And from the roof he saw a woman washing herself. And the woman was very beautiful to look upon. And Duad sent and inquired after the woman. And one said, Is not this Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah the Chatti? And Duad sent messengers, and took her, and she came in unto him. And he lay with her, for she was purified from her uncleanness. And she returned unto her house. And the woman conceived, and sent, and told Duad, and said, I am with child. King Duad conspired to kill Uriah, the husband of Bathsheba. 2 Shemuel 11:14 through 15. And it came to pass in the morning that Duad wrote a letter to Joab, and sent it by the hand of Uriah. And he wrote in the letter, saying, Set ye Uriah in the forefront of the hottest battle, and retire ye from him, that he may be smitten and die. King Duad and polygamy. The desire for another man's wife turned King Duad's heart away from Yahuwah, as Yahuwah prophesied that it would. King Duad already had multiple wives before he became king. He acquired more wives after he became king. King Duad conspired to kill Uriah, who was a soldier in his army, because he wanted the man's wife for himself. Yahuwah punished King Duad for this sin. Yahuwah caused the sword to never depart from Duad. Yahuwah took the wives of Duad and gave them to another. Yahuwah caused the child from this adulterous relationship to die. King Shalomah loved many strange women. 1 Kings 11:1 through 3. But King Shalomah loved many strange women, together with the daughter of Para'ah, women of the Moabiyat, Ammoniyut, Adamiyat, Sadoniyat, and Chatiyat, of the nations concerning which Yahuwah said unto the children of Yasharal, Ye shall not go in to them, neither shall they come in unto you. For surely they will turn away your heart after their Allahiyahum. Shalomah clave unto these in love, and he had 700 wives, princes, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart. Strange is equal to foreign. King Shalomah and polygamy. The desire for many foreign wives caused King Shalomah's heart to turn away from Yahuwah, as Yahuwah prophesied it would. King Shalomah helped his foreign wives to worship foreign Allahiyahum instead of Yahuwah. Yahuwah punished King Shalomah for this sin. Yahuwah ran part of the kingdom away from King Shalomah and gave 10 tribes to another who was not of the tribe of Yehudah. Defraud ye not one the other of sex. 1 Corinthians 7:5. Defraud ye not one the other, except it be with consent for a time, that ye may give yourselves to fasting and prayer, and come together again, that Shaitan tempt you not for your incontinency. Incontinency equals failure to restrain sexual appetite. Both the husband and wife have a sexual appetite. Both the husband's sexual appetite and the wife's sexual appetite can be tempted if they are separated from one another for too long. Sex is for the pleasures of both the husband and the wife, and both can be tempted if they are deprived of it by their spouse. Sex should not be used as a weapon on the marriage bed. A husband does not want to acquire so many wives in countries that do permit polygamy that they are unable to fulfill all of his wives' sex needs. Yahuwah intended for both the husband and the wife to enjoy sex. Sex is not made for the husband only. I can't help but wonder, how did King Shalomah fulfill the sex needs of all of his 700 kinswomen wives and his 300 concubine wives. The bishop leader must be the husband of one wife. 1 Timothy 3:2. A bishop then must be blameless, the husband of one wife, vigilant, sober, of good behavior, given to hospitality, apt to teach. The deacon leader must be the husband of one wife. 1 Timothy 3:8-12. Likewise must the deacons be grave, not double-tongued, not given to much wine, not greedy of filthy lucre, holding the mystery of the faith in a pure conscience. And let these also first be proved, then let them use the office of a deacon, being found blameless. Even so must their wives be grave, not slanderers, sober, faithful in all things. Let the deacons be the husbands of one wife, ruling their children and their own houses well. The leaders in the faith and polygamy. The same principle of one husband, one wife for the leaders is found in the New Testament. However, it was still open to the men of Yasharal to practice polygamy and have multiple wives. The men with multiple wives could not serve as leaders, such as in the position of bishop and deacon, in the public muad meetings. The bed undefiled. Aubrey 13:4. Marriage is honorable in all, and the bed undefiled. But whoremongers and adulterers Yahuwah will judge. Note: the marriage bed can be defiled by many things. The people of Yahuwah cannot do whatever they want on the marriage bed. The sex practices of the people of Yahuwah must conform to the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahuwah. Yahuwah is aware of all our sexual activities. Both men and women can be whoremongers and adulterers. The wives had their own tents. Genesis 31:33. And Laban went into Jacob's tent, and into Laah's tent, and into the two maidservants' tents, but he found them not. Then went he out of Laah's tent, and entered into Rachel's tent. Note: a tent in our modern times can be equal to a room or a house. Vaginal flora. Vaginal flora, vaginal microbiota, or vaginal microbiome are the microorganisms that colonize the vagina. They were discovered by the German gynecologist Albert Dodelin in 1892 and are part of the overall human flora. The amount and type of bacteria present have significant implications for an individual's overall health. Can a husband have orgies with his wives? In the countries that do permit polygamy, a husband that is a man of Yahuwah should not have orgies with his multiple wives. The pattern that is presented in the scriptures is that the wives of Yaakov had their own tent, and Yaakov visited each wife in their own tent. A husband should visit each wife for sex, one at a time in a separate room or house. Furthermore, it is unclean to pass one wife's vaginal flora and excretions to another wife. A husband should thoroughly wash himself before he approaches the next wife for sex. Vaginas have different vaginal flora. One wife's vaginal flora may not be healthy for another wife. Also, I believe that looking at others have sex, even your husband with your sister wives, is a type of watching pornography. One husband and one wife were naked, and they were not ashamed. Orgies are a shame. Bride dowry. Bride price, bride dowry, bride wealth, bride service, or bride token is money, property, or other form of wealth paid by a groom or his family to the woman or the family of the woman he will be married to or is just about to marry. The dowry is part of the culture of Yasharal. The men of Yasharal have escaped paying the dowry since the black and brown people became slaves who had a yoke put on their necks, were transported as slaves to foreign nations. Some of the men do not want to legally marry the daughters of Yasharal, which would give them financial protection under the law. The men seem to not want a woman to have papers on them, but the papers provide protection for both parties. If you are not legally married in the eyes of the law of the country in which you reside and are a slave in, both of you may be financially unprotected. Furthermore, it puts the men and women of Yasharal in a relationship of fornication. What is fornication in a marriage of monogamy? Fornication is any sexual activity outside of legal marriage. If we live in countries that do not permit polygamy, then our only option for marriage is legal monogamy. Marriage is not something that is done in the dark, but should be legally recorded in a record so that the community of Yahuwah is aware of who is husband and wife to who. The community of Yahuwah should know who is available for marriage and who is not. The community of Yahuwah should report instances of possible infidelity when suspected so that the leaders of the faith can investigate. What is fornication in a marriage of polygamy? If a husband has multiple wives and is in a marriage of polygamy, fornication is any sexual activity outside of legal marriage. All wives should be aware of all other wives and all of their children. Marriage is not a thing done in secret. A man and woman should legally protect themselves by getting a legal marriage that is recognized by the laws of the foreign country that you are a slave in. In a multiple wives situation, if the foreign country does not legally and financially protect each wife, the women should avoid these marriages. Take heed, Shamar, Ra'ah. Thank you for watching.